Hey, Widge is here too.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I
Okay.
like that Tom Jones cover. What? Yeah, I can hear you, Rox.
Okay. Just checking.
That was Puddle.
What's that?
That was Puddle's pity party.
Oh, I figured.
Oh, it was good.
I'm actually missing him. He's here in town today so that I could.
For a second, he had that Tom.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Widge is like 5 seconds behind us. I said I'm missing Puddle's pity party tonight to be here.
Man, you're a good man. You could have,
postponed it.
Yeah, he's in town.
Yeah,
only $20.
Veto power.
Well,
veto power.
Something our president's going to have to use shortly.
Hey,
your president. I'm sorry, it's your president.
What? Whoa! Don't put that on me. I don't vote for him.
Neither did I.
You don't vote for kings. What is happening here?
I don't know, but I think you're a couple of seconds behind us.
Well, but that's normal.
When I say 3, you say 4. 1, 2, 3.
4.
Yeah, you're a bit behind us.
That's weird. Huh?
Where'd Rox go?
So the question is, am I hearing you delayed, or are you hearing me delayed?
The only person that can break
both.
The only person that can break this tie is Rox. Rox, when I get to 3, you say 4. Okay.
All right.
1, 2, 3,
4.
Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3,
4.
Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3,
4.
Yeah, no, she's right on time.
Yeah, she sounded right on time here. That's what's weird.
We sound normal to each other, right, Rox?
Yes.
Well, to me, that's what's weird.
Oh, now
Rox, do I sound delayed?
Yeah. No, you're just breaking up.
That's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what she said. All right, hang on a second. Wondering if my router is dying. Yep. So let me reboot it real quick. Stand by. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. It's what can I change so I can reboot the fucking thing? How about I do that?
Let's go for cookie time.
Cookies.
What? No. This one.
No, it is definitely Girl Scout cookie time.
Yeah, I have not been happy with the Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, they've gotten less for more.
Yeah.
I could have worn my nose tonight too.
Could have. Absolutely.
Anyway. Rox is done.
Done.
So I meant to tell you that the lantern parade you went to?
Yeah.
We were just there during the day towards the end of the
Oh, really? Oh, you were at the art market and everything because that was the day.
Yeah, apparently Jordan goes down there fairly often.
Oh, does she? Oh, wow. It's the place to go. Yeah.
You can recognize her these days as the girl in the cast in the knee scooter.
Oh, she's got one of those.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, she has some sort of thing with her bones that it's she's been. The funny part is that she's been complaining about it for years.
Yeah.
And the doctor, the pediatrician doctor, always just kept saying it's just growing pains, and she complaining about her ankle for years. Well, it turns out that she has this, not, I don't know what they call it, disorder, but this thing that her one of the joints or bones in her ankle didn't have any fluid in it.
Whoa! Wow!
So it'd been grinding, or the cartilage was just dry or whatever,
Yeah.
and so it'd been grinding for years. And so when she turned 18, she went to a regular doctor. The regular doctor went, "Hey, you know what? Maybe we should take an X-ray."
Yeah.
They took an X-ray and they go, "Oh yeah, we need to go get an MRI. There's obviously something wrong here." And they went to the MRI and they went, "Oh yeah, you need to go to a doctor."
My gosh!
Instead of being a full cast, knee down to the end of the foot, cast for roughly 3 months, and then she gets to go to a boot for a month and a half. Yeah, and this is her semester for 3D art as well. So we've been trying to get things from the dorm to the studio, and
oh my god!
They just recently had to make something out of cardboard. It had to be like a 3-dimensional project out of cardboard, and it had to be at least 3 feet high and something like that. And she's like, "How am I going to get this anywhere?" She doesn't drive, and all she has is a little scooter with a little basket on the front of it.
Oh my gosh! Wow! Oh my gosh! So 3 months in a full cast?
Yeah.
Wow.
So her.
That's some pediatrician you got.
Yeah. But the doctor's up there in Jacksonville, and she's super nice. So.
Oh, who's she going with? Well, I don't know.
Someone off of Butler.
Off of Butler, Lem Turner, wherever. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Over in the interstate somewhere in there.
Yeah.
There's a big there's a bunch of medical offices that are not too
far. Yeah, that's medical land. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would know the doctor's name if you tattooed it on my face.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we were just there, and I was like bummed because I was like, oh man. First of all, I was bummed because I didn't know there was a lantern parade.
Just text me too.
Well, I mean,
I'm right down the street. That's like in my backyard.
Is it literally in your neighborhood?
Yeah.
Oh, you live down there?
Yes.
Wow.
Nearby, a couple blocks away. Yeah. Yes, it's the hip area. Where do you think I would live?
Well, there's a museum down there, so yeah. Is that museum any good?
It's good.
It's
They're
good?
helping me with a project for a library. Yeah. Oh yeah, they have your daughter probably has seen the exhibit. A black Augusta Savage. All right. She was a African American female sculptor during the 40s, 50s. She created a piece of sculpture called the harp, which then they used, James Weldon Johnson's poem "Lift Every Voice" to that, and this was a sculpture that was used at one of the World's Fairs. So I think it's on exhibit until April, I believe. So Saturday is first weekend, so it's open. So she needs to go see it if she hasn't already.
Okay. Yeah, she gets. I think UNF students get in there free one day of the week or something.
Well, yeah, there's Tuesday. Tuesday's free day. Free from 4 to 9. Savage. And here's the weird thing. So this woman is known in our area. She then lived up in Harlem. And then, oddly enough, she lived a little bit in Saugerties, New York, which is like podunk nowhere. So the harp, which was like I think 6 feet tall, didn't survive the the World's Fair. They always break. They don't keep anything really,
except the Eiffel Tower
and those flying saucers from Men in Black.
Yeah. Yes. So I think when is this? 1930. Let's see. Become a member. April 7.
Are you telling me
the harp?
You were just remembering 1930?
Yes, I was just remembering it. Yeah.
The good old days, what you like to call it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Back when you were a mere teen.
That's right. Yes. Mere teen.
JJ's here.
So yeah, she created the work, the harp, between 1935 and 1945. Then it went to the World's Fair from 39 to 40. And it's a massive, massive piece. And there's like 80 pieces. If your daughter hasn't gone to this, she needs to go so she can see it. All right. So if it's going till April 7th, so that means this Saturday she can see it. The Tuesday evenings from 4 to 9, and then that first Saturday in April before it goes away. So it's a really, especially if you
only open certain days, or is that just when you can get in free?
No, well, that's for free. Yeah. Other than that, anybody could go in, and I think it's like $15 or something. So yeah.
JJ's here.
JJ!
Hey, JJ.
Okay, hello. John, am I normal now? Well, wait, that's loaded. Am I at least on time?
Yes.
Oh, good.
We both said a beat later.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure everything's up and running with mine because my configurations were all wrong. How am I?
You sound good.
You're good.
Yeah.
You're groovy. Plus, I also have control over here to raise and lower your voice if I need to.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so there we go.
Well, I also have volume controls, but
why should you bother with them?
Well, I'm also not the only person in the apartment, so I have my mic turned down kind of low just so we don't get ambient noise.
Put a blanket over you and stuff. So.
Do you have some of those people left over from Wild Wild Country living with you? Is that what?
And that joke went so far over my head.
Wow, yeah.
It was a Netflix.
Right. The documentary series. I'm sorry. I am so far out of touch with so much pop culture that I probably shouldn't even be.
Oh, I don't know that that's considered pop.
No.
Yeah, you're
good.
You're good. Whatever it is, you're ahead of me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, if you looked at the non-agenda, it's kind of weak this time.
I realized I could do like 8 different line items about the Oscars, but then I only had the Oscars on there, so I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
We got to talk Oscars.
Well, okay, can we... did anybody like the Queen opening? I mean, I did.
It's okay. I'm not a big fan of that Lambert guy.
I actually I DVR'd them and am planning on watching them later this evening.
Okay. Well, don't use my opinion on what I just said.
I agree with you. I think Lambert was, but he's fine. I mean, I've always said, and it's funny that he comes from American Idol because, they used to try to cover. People used to try to cover Queen just in general,
right?
Back when I was watching American Idol. And I would always just say the only people that should cover Queen is Queen. Yeah. That's it.
But the thing is, Adam Lambert's been touring with Queen for
Oh yeah,
for so long that he's basically who they have to have. I mean,
well, but
is going to be in front.
That's why I don't go.
Well, the thing about it is this, and I was mentioning this on Twitter the other day. What I like about Queen is that they basically have acknowledged that they can't replace Freddie, and so they don't tour as Queen. They are Queen and Adam Lambert, just like they were Queen and Paul Rogers before that.
Yeah.
So it's I kind of like that. It's not like, when you go and see something like, tonight the Shangri-Las, and there's like one original Shangri-La left and the rest have been replaced,
Oh yeah, or even when Jefferson Starship was at Dragon Con and it was like, who was left?
There were 2 separate Queensryches touring the United States for a while.
Wow.
The Earth 1 and the Earth 2 Queensryches.
Yeah, because the lead singer took the name as well as the remaining band members, so they were all like there was a big legal fight over who was Queensryche.
God, oh my God!
Right? Yeah, Jeff Tate eventually won rights to Operation Mindcrime and a couple of other things. So he's allowed to produce. He's allowed to do that show. But other than that, pretty much Queensryche is just now the 3 remaining members.
I'm impressed. I wasn't going to go for a deep dive because I thought it would be like a fart in church. So congratulations. Oh, no.
Yeah, I thought for a second Tuffley was on the call.
I've been a huge Queensryche fan for a long time. So
since Queen of the Reich,
Queen of the Reich. Since their EP. Basically, yeah. But no.
I have to admit, I came along on Rage for Order and had to buy the EP later.
Yep. It was introduced to me by one of my good friends, and it went from there. So they were actually, speaking of that, Queensryche was actually in town like 3 weeks ago. The new one. I don't want to go into a whole thing about Queensryche, but
why not? Welcome to the podcast.
The Queensryche tangent.
Absolutely.
I used to torture my wife with because I used to play Operation Mindcrime ad nauseum, right? So, my wife, when we were dating, put up with it for as long as she possibly could on long car rides until we got married, and she's like, "Yeah, you're never playing that again." Not while I'm around.
Wow.
And now there's nothing left, only the memories.
Yes. And what they knew.
Wow.
That is, but I was listening to it just the other day while I was at work, and that is, for me, that is as close to perfection a concept album as you can get, and I'm a big Pink Floyd fan too, and I think it's better than The Wall, to be honest with you. I think it was just really well put together.
And it's
sorry, John, there was some static on the line for a second there. I must have misunderstood you. It's okay though.
No, you heard me, but that's again why we all have assholes, because we're all opinions.
It's like Simon Amstel, that bit from his show. What? Not Numb, the first one. I'm blanking on the name. But he was like, yeah, that's what my mother would always say when she'd see celebrities on television. She'd say, "You see those people there? They all shit. You'll be a star."
Well, for my Casablanca opinion, I've never been a Floyd fan, and I also prefer Mindcrime over The Wall.
Oh my god!
I agree with you on that. Even though I love The Wall, but
I like the final cut.
It's probably a better album, but
yeah. What's weird about that, Rox, is that I find, I mean, a lot of people find The Wall like depressing, but I find the final cut incredibly depressing. Amazing,
amazingly depressing.
but depressing as hell.
Oh yeah.
Where
I appreciate the film for the
yeah,
wall.
but the thing
Yeah,
is
Bob Geldof is fucking amazing in that.
which is the one song, I can't remember it, but it's got the jets flying over.
Oh,
Which one's that? Not the cenotaph.
Get your filthy hands off my desert, but
it's great. First time you hear that's amazing.
The one about the cenotaph, not Two Suns in the Sunset. Hang on.
For me, this is just a procession of words.
Oh, is it Southampton Dock?
Yes.
Okay.
This is beginning to feel like an improv game.
It is an improv game.
Yeah.
Which will,
Mornington Crescent.
It just evolves from there.
Okay, we need the sound. We need the name of a song that would never be written. Southampton Jetfire.
Oh, I like that. That will be written.
I'm so miserable without you. It's almost like having you here.
If you can't tell, I just got out of a series of improv classes, so my brain's kind of back in that mode.
How'd they go?
A dime will buy you nothing.
My brain is usually in that mode, so welcome.
Well, my brain was not, and my brain has not been healthy, so it was a good thing for me to do, and it went okay. It was bizarre because I had to start with a completely new group of people, so I went beginning, and when you've been doing something for over 15 years and you go back to the beginning and you're like, why are we doing all this really stupid shit? Oh, right. You people don't know how to do any of this. Okay. Okay, stop. learn how to walk again, and we'll do fun shit later.
Mm-hmm.
It's the circle of life.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
So are you still doing the classes or?
We had part of the reason I'm here this evening is because I'm taking them on Tuesdays. So this is the week that we have off between level 1 and level 2. I'll be taking level 2 shortly, although I will not be at the next week's level 2 because next week I will be on vacation, which means I will be in California.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, wow.
Anything fancy while you're out there?
I'm going to a little tourist trap that I don't know that many people have heard of. It's in Anaheim.
No,
it's some sort of mouse park.
Oh, that.
Oh, the mouse park. Yeah. I think I heard somebody talk about that once.
Yeah, I through a long story which I don't feel like going into right now, and I don't really want to completely bring the podcast to any sort of lack of joy. I am taking a vacation by myself for the first time ever, and when I was trying to figure out where I could go myself and not like feel completely awful about being by myself, I was like, well, I'm going where everybody goes. I'm going to Disneyland.
Yeah.
And because they are about to open the Star Wars area, their attendance is down.
So waiting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So because the one in California opens in like this summer, so they're offering like cheap tickets and their hotel rooms. So even though I kind of decided to go last minute, I was able to get get admission into the park for 3 days and hotel room for next to nothing.
Wow.
How are you getting down there?
Plane.
Okay. Yeah, we're actually the one here at Hollywood Studios here in Florida doesn't open until the fall of this year, it looks like.
I know a lot about, because I'm a research junkie, I know a lot about Disney parks right now.
Right.
And so, yes, they're planning on opening that probably in November, but they're saying there could be sort of a beta testing and stuff in October. Oh,
well, in either case, I'm not going there. We're going there in June. To figure out what month it was.
Yeah, my plan is to wait for the Star Wars park to open and then hope that the Harry Potter parks have calmed down to the point where I can get in there.
What? Yeah.
Your plan was to do the opposite. Gotcha.
That's right.
Good idea.
I'm
So JJ, have you listened to any of the the mouse podcasts?
I don't know the mouse, but I've been listening to Theme Park Reports.
I think so. There's that one guy that goes to them like, I don't know, every other month, and he's from Texas and he flies like monthly to a park.
Oh.
It's crazy. Creepy, but crazy. Creepy crazy.
That is one thing about doing research. You watch a lot of the videos and stuff, and yeah, a lot of people that host videos and stuff that tell you news of the park all come across as a little pedophile-y.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I
And
will
that's why
say,
JJ's here to introduce JJ's Disney World.
well, the one thing I'll say is I got to go when I was out for D23 the one year I went with Dana Snyder to Disneyland, and it was like I wish he would just do a walkthrough recorded audio park tour.
Oh my god! Yeah,
it was amazing. He was like a theme park archaeologist, because he would like point to some thing in the vines off. Yeah, well, that's where the train track used to be until like 1970. And if you could see where these used to be these indentions they filled in here, this is where the Alice in Wonderland queue was that took the place of this right over here. I'm like, dude, your knowledge of this is frightening.
It is. He knows where that the restaurant is.
Oh, yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I went through the dealer's room with him at D23, and it was like he was looking at these cases of stuff and going, got that one. Oh, I got that one. Like just ephemera, right? Like an entire case of the different kinds of tickets they used to have, where e-ticket comes from, right? Yeah. He was just pointing at, got that. I'm like, this is insane. This is like me if Marvel Comics from like the 1990s were a place.
Is he still doing Drunk on Disney? Do you know?
I think he does on occasion. Hi, Rob.
Hello, kids.
So, Rob, I know you wanted to talk about how much you like the film Roma.
Fuck you.
Looks like the last one was June of last year.
Last what?
Drunk on Disney.
Okay.
I was just buttoning up a question I had.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
So Widge has here in the notes asking if Green Book is as shitty as they claim it is. Is it, Rob? Because I think you might be the only person that saw it.
Here's the thing. It was at the film festival here, right? So it was, first of all, I like to say it's free. Here's the thing.
All the best reviews start with, well, it was free.
No, here's the thing. When I saw it, I was watching it. I'm watching Viggo and Ali, who are great in it.
Yeah.
And I
think Viggo is fantastic.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I didn't really have any sort of, because I saw it right after at the festival. They showed it right after If Beale Street Could Talk, right? So I had that sort of like explosion in my head at the time. So all the things that Damien has pointed out in his posts, I completely just didn't think of. You know, I'm just like, I just watched it sort of as, oh, this is entertainment. I never thought of those aspects of it. So taken as like a road movie, right? It's not really awful, but bogging it down with the sort of racial and political overtones of it, I see why people are upset, but the acting in it is really great. I don't necessarily think it was the best film of the year, but I thought, you know, it was, okay, it's a really great film. It makes people think. It's not terrible, but is it the best film of the year? Whereas Roma, I thought was absolutely gorgeous, and I thought the two girls in it, that was their first film, I thought they were amazing. The things that bothered me about Roma was the 20-minute of the car coming in and out of the garage, and the close-up of like 15 minutes of dog shit. That just drove me nuts, and it was like maybe 30 minutes too long. But outside of that, you know, I understand why people like it, right? It's
very Fellini-esque.
Yeah, it is very Fellini, and I love Fellini, which is weird.
Yeah.
If Roma had won Best Picture, I would have no problem with it. I understand why people love it. I appreciate the cinematography. I appreciate the acting. There's just some of it that's really, really too fucking pretentious for me.
Well, good thing it won for directing.
Yeah, and I don't disagree.
Well, it won Best Foreign Film as well.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But having seen, like, I saw Capernaum and it was amazing, but it's not a Best Foreign Film. The Never Look Away is great, but it's about a half hour too long. Cold War is amazing.
Has it ever happened where there was a Best Picture nominee that was also nominated for Best Foreign Film?
Life is Beautiful, especially.
That's right. Yeah. So, I mean, I would have no problems. I mean, I understand why it won Best Foreign Film. I liked Cold War a little better. But, I mean, you could not argue with the cinematography and, like, the film technique that he used. So, I have no problem with him winning Best Director. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with, the film not being, like, a piece of art, right? But, I mean, it's not like Spies Like Us where you're like, what the fuck is this, right? But...
In tonight's episode, Rob compares Roma to Spies Like Us.
That is not. That is. I could not see that coming in a million damn years.
But it's kind of like it's just a little long, and there's times when he's like too in love with his own camera work that he lets the shots linger, and you're like, come on. Now, to be fair, so in order at the film festival, the last night we saw Beale Street Could Talk, then Green Book, then Roma right after it. Mm-hmm. So there is a certain amount, and I watched some of it again on Netflix, and it's like, in terms of filmmaking, it's a great movie to show people on how to do filmmaking, but it's just really heavy and long, and I didn't love it. But I love Fellini, which is weird, so I'm totally like, punting the whole thing. So, but I don't know what I would have necessarily picked as best film. I mean, Black Klansman was really amazing. In terms of going to a theater and just being absolutely numb and really affected emotionally by a film, it's Black Panther and If Beale Street Could Talk and Black Klansman, pretty much. Just when you leave a theater and you're just like, wow, this is like
something. Not A Star Is Born.
I didn't hate A Star Is Born, but it was about a half hour too long.
Everything's a half hour too long for you.
No, it's not. It was just literally a little long. And I think it was long in the beginning as opposed to the end. But I understand why it's long. I mean, it's a long movie going in. And I thought it was good. I just didn't think it was, and it was not the best movie of the year. It may have deserved to win Best Picture more than Green Book, just in terms of how it flowed and paced and followed all the things that you like for a movie.
I just realized something that JJ said a little while ago. Do you already know? Are we spoiling anything for you right now?
Oh, no, it doesn't matter. I do know all of it. It's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, hey, JJ.
Hello.
Sorry.
Yeah, but the Best Picture from last year won Best Animated Feature. So
that's true.
Yeah.
I can't think of a film that I enjoyed more than Into the Spider-Verse last year.
I was so happy that won.
Yeah.
My only concern was Island of Dogs.
Oh God, that movie! I have angry tirades about that movie.
Why?
Oh my God, the violence and vivisection and just the overall tone of that film was horrible.
It's been a while since I saw it.
It was needlessly. Heavy-handed and bleak with cruelty. It just it went beyond making a statement into more of a. It almost felt pornographic to keep watching it by the time it was over.
Yeah. But Spider-Verse is just generally loved. I mean, it's technically great. You feel good. It's groundbreaking. I can't think of anything bad to say about,
Yeah, and especially was it Forbes? I don't know. There was a there was an insider video which had like what was it, 7 minutes of things that they did, some of which you don't consciously pick up on, but once you see it, you know, oh shit, I get where I was getting that from. It's just genius. and I want a Spider-Ham animated series, please.
Yeah.
On the DVD, there is going to be a Spider-Ham cartoon.
Oh yes, really? I've seen a bit of it. It's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's great. Yeah, well, we know we're getting a Gwen movie, and we know we're getting another Miles movie, and I keep John Mulaney doing Spider-Ham for as long as necessary.
Yeah.
Well, did you guys heard about the outtake that they couldn't use, the line they cut because it just wasn't appropriate, right? Did you guys hear about this? In the scene where they're all sharing their, well, I lost my Uncle Ben and I lost my best friend. You notice Spider-Ham didn't chime in with that. Well, because he did previously, and the line I think was, well, for me it was my Uncle Frankenfurter. He was electrocuted. It was so sad, but boy did he smell good. Which is
awesome.
Just horrendous and hilarious.
Yeah.
And as you're saying it, I heard Mulaney's delivery of that too. So
they said that I read the article where they were like, it absolutely killed every single time we showed it in there, but we were like, this just isn't right.
Yeah. I was very pleased at that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I was worried, but I am pleased that I don't have to go and burn Los Angeles to the ground now.
And I saw we saw The Wife, and
how was
it?
That?
Here's the thing about The Wife, though, man. It's like she is amazing in that. She really, really is, and he's great in it too. He does the job of being such a jerk in it that you just completely forget that you're watching an actor. So,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, if anyone is thinking about getting separated or divorced, do not go see The Wife. It's just not a good idea. But yeah, no, I mean, she was amazing in it. I don't know if but Olivia Colman was also amazing. So I'm totally fine, with that going down how it did. And, she carries that whole movie. She really does.
Wow.
Yeah. It's not, but it's kind of, it's not the best. It's not the best example of a book being made into a movie.
The guy on Sunday morning on CBS, because I'm 80 years old.
I love that.
So you and I are both 80 years old.
Yes.
He said she is the best thing to happen to a movie that is that bad.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I noticed that it wasn't nominated for anything else.
No, but there's not really much else in it. So
that made it sound like you have seen The Favorite.
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen The Lobster?
Yes, I hated The Lobster.
Okay. Now that I understand your baseline, how did you like The Favorite?
Okay. First of all, I'm a nitpick because it bothered me that it was historically inaccurate.
Yeah.
That's the thing that really bothered me. I thought, Olivia Colman eats the fucking ground off of anything that she does, and her and Rachel Weisz together is like, it's an acting clinic. Mm-hmm. Now, the thing is, they do this thing with the incidental scoring music in that movie that drives me nuts. There's like this little, it's not really a note. It's something they just sort of play over and over again. And it's just really heavy handed. It drives me nuts.
Okay.
And, it was funny in all of the right places. Like just when you needed the movie to be funny, it was funny. But again, it was just kind of, I liked it more than The Lobster.
Not hard.
But
ladies.
I knew I knew going in that with Rachel Weisz and Olivia Colman, and it's like, this is going to be, pretty good. And Emma Stone is not terrible in it. I don't know if she's miscast, but at times it doesn't quite work. But she's not awful in it. There's probably other people I would have put in it. So.
Okay, because I was actually pretty excited to watch it until I found out who wrote and directed it, and I was like, maybe not.
Yeah.
So you haven't seen it, JJ?
I have not. Like I said, I saw The Lobster, and again, much like Isle of Dogs, I have a lot of rage towards that movie.
I do too. Yeah.
And so I was not excited to dip back into that gentleman's oval.
The costuming is great in it. I'll say that. And the sets are great. They got to film, I think, in a couple of places that they don't normally get to film in. And he, it's like having done a whole bunch of classes on history stuff with that period. It's like, okay, wait a minute. She wouldn't have done that. She wouldn't have done that. The whole thing with the rabbits is invented. So it's a little, I have to get past the suspension of disbelief, but, so there you are. But she deserved everything she won because she's fucking amazing in it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, well, I like her in other stuff.
I do too.
Yeah.
I have not liked her. There's nothing I haven't liked her in. So
from that Mitchell and Webb show or Mitchell and Webb looked on.
Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
Hot Fuzz.
And she's in everything. I mean, I don't know when she
was she in Broadchurch?
Yeah.
She was in Broadchurch. They wasted her in Doctor Who. She had a real but that's okay.
Yeah, how I saw that she had won the Oscar was somebody posted a picture of saying, basically the Oscar goes to, and then there was a GIF of that's Number Wang.
Nice.
Yeah. And her speech was great. It's the best Oscar speech they've done in years.
Well, yeah, because I think that was so genuine. It was so surprising for her. And it's obvious she didn't have anything prepared.
Well, and
who's driving off?
Oh, somebody out here.
Oh,
I have really terrible reception at home right now. So outside, I get it better than inside because it's just we had with the winds this weekend. I pretty much have been moving tree branches all weekend. So.
Oh, well, I like the idea that, I heard walking earlier. So it gives us that kind of man on the street type of podcast that we desperately need.
Sure.
The world needs me.
I just assumed that it was John working very hard in real time, giving us some Foley effects.
No.
Yeah. So okay. So how is it that the Oscars worked this time without a host, and it didn't work 20 years ago with that strange find the host? It's I remember where Jeremy Irons was at the back of the whole auditorium. Hello.
Well, you know what they did that was really smart this year. Because I'd actually, for reasons that are unbeknownst to me, I really thought about this. They did the smart thing and opened up with three really good, when they opened up with Amy Poehler and Tina Fey and Maya Rudolph, that was great. But after that, when they did the handoffs, it was all people that had presented before. And they were all people who, when they presented, had gotten on and off the stage really quick. It wasn't anybody lingering for a very long time when they presented. So that was good. And they tried to be as contemporary as possible so that you at least knew who at least one of the people presenting was at all times, which is really smart. And I think by not having an ego involved in hosting the Oscars, it takes away you have to cut this to give the monologue and this and that. It makes the biggest thing it did is it cut down the amount of time they had to spend doing the musical numbers because they didn't have to do all this time with setup and stuff. And it really helped with the pacing.
Well, they said that Jimmy Kimmel's monologue was 18 minutes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it actually flowed well because they actually thought about the ceremony and trying to make it accessible. I think that because I didn't watch it in real time. I was at a concert and I went home and watched it. for like the last hour, and then went back and watched all the other stuff.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I think the best part of it was that it had a really nice flow, it had a really nice pace, and it
Mhm.
wasn't really clunky.
Mhm.
You know, one of my new favorite pastimes, Rocks, is watching people bitch about the in memoriam thing.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, I'm that person.
And this year,
so who
I
did
am
they
too.
miss? Who did they
Okay,
miss?
well, I mean, here's the thing.
Carol Channing.
Tell me they
Carol-
missed.
They missed
Go
Carol
ahead.
fucking Channing, which is huge, and they missed
Katie
they missed Ben Miller. They missed Ben Miller. So, but people,
How did they miss this?
but so they think about like, well, they put Albert Finney in, so I mean they went recent. But like, here's the thing: is like, there are some folks that are like, oh, well, they missed this person. You know, sometimes the people get so obscure that it's like, calm the hell.
No.
Like there was a guy on Line Fighting that they didn't put Ken Berry in, right?
Oh well.
Well, I mean, I understand that, but you know, this thing can't.
You guys
This
write those articles, the funny articles.
no, the guy from the Herbie the Love Bug movies and F Troop,
Yeah.
and Mama's Family. But, you know,
and Mayberry, RFD. Oh my God,
Yeah.
yeah, Mama's Family. I
Yeah.
didn't know he died.
He would
Yeah.
be more of an Emmys person than an Oscar person.
So
And
I mean, there is that. I mean, that there is some of that, you know. But they put
Yeah, but
Stanley-
I'm sorry when they missed out on Farrah Fawcett that one year. Holy
Yeah.
crap!
yeah.
Sorry.
They put Burt Reynolds in too, which was smart.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So yeah, I am.
They
I will,
did add. All right. Did they add Stan Lee?
Yeah, they put
Yeah,
Stanley
did.
in.
Okay.
Yeah. I will say, and Widge knows about this because I had him sign off on it before I did it. I was greatly appalled that my letter that I did send FedEx to the Academy offering Rox and I services to host the Oscars. I didn't even get a reject. I did it just because I wanted a really cool rejection letter. I didn't even get a fucking rejection letter.
Oh, it's probably going to be in the mail next week.
No.
If you
Really?
think about it, though, the host for the show was actually that disembodied voice that just
Yeah.
kept announcing people.
Yeah.
And now, yes.
Yeah. But that's okay.
Well, Rox is a great disembodied voice.
Yes.
I did like the Melissa McCarthy thing and the puppet. That was funny because she couldn't get the envelope
Yeah.
open. That was cute.
And Richard E. Grant was so happy to meet Barbara Streisand that was awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
You know.
Well, I saw the pictures of him on his
He was just like,
Instagram
oh.
meeting everyone and having an absolute fucking blast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did I miss it, or did they? Was the only number that wasn't performed the one from Black Panther?
Yes, that was the only one they didn't do.
Okay.
Because
Huh?
I think it's because Kanye's overseas. I don't think it's because anything. But yeah,
But
So.
they could have gotten anybody. It's never stopped them in the past from
yeah.
just getting.
Yeah,
stuff
that
to do.
Lambert could have sang it.
That Lambert guy that was.
We have him already.
Gotta-
Don't get me started.
Lambert guy.
That would be hilarious.
Oh, we already talked about him earlier.
Uh-oh.
What?
Rob, you're
Rob-
on mute.
Rob,
Rob,
you
you're muted.
Yes, I am. I had it on mute for a reason because I was
okay.
coughing.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
well, you are
Oh, we
outside.
need that outdoorsy sound for to
Yeah.
win our Emmy.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Good
So
times.
you can just be
I
guys
had,
talking in the
I
back.
had some friends go to the Oscar Shorts collection.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Yeah, I know, but everyone came out of there and they're like, you made the wise choice of not going. I'm like, why? They're like,
Oh.
they were all horribly depressing.
Yeah, they were, but that's the tenure of filmmaking right now.
Well, I know, but they didn't. These are people that I want a happy film. And when you
Yeah.
hear the word shorts, it's like, oh, we get like the little toaster that could and stuff like
Yeah.
that. That's what they were hoping for.
Oh, okay.
yeah. I think that would be great if you had a sequel to the Brave Little Toaster called The Brave Little Toaster Meets Ennui.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brave little
So-
toaster goes through puberty.
Good times.
that would be better than
Brave
the actual
little
sequels they made.
toaster tries to get a patent.
I don't know why I thought you were going to say the brave little toaster gets a pap smear, but that's totally where I thought you were going.
I thought she said the brave little toaster meets Patton. I was
Well, that too.
And then gets a pap smear.
And then yeah, there we go.
Good Lord.
And the song will be sung by Madonna for that movie.
And Bradley Cooper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God. Well,
their performance was pretty damn good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought at the beginning, Bradley Cooper coming in seemed a little off.
Oh
well, I think performing live for him is probably, he looked like he was a little nervous.
It's like
and he was performing.
He doesn't normally do.
Well, he was performing in his real voice as opposed to the character voice that he
dubbed and whatever and lip syncing and
Well,
all right. So how was the whatever Star is Born? I mean, I've seen
it wasn't
Barbara
bad.
Streisand, and I saw the original one.
It was not bad.
All right, because I was on the phone with my cousin, and he's like, "It was almost word for word the Barbara Streisand one." I'm like, really?
Sam Elliott's great in it.
All right.
They literalized the ending more than the Barbara Streisand one.
That's what I was going to say. So it's not quite the same.
Yeah, it's not as. I wonder what he went off and happened to him.
Okay.
Just went to go get an ice cream.
Yeah. So Karl Lagerfeld passed away.
Yep.
He was the first person. He actually created his own title, which was Superstar Clothing Designer.
Nice.
I just saw that on a thing. He's like, yeah, that's just what I am. I
mean, he was still working up until he died.
He really was. So I saw a video where his head other designer lady, she's like, he was still worried about the bows and stuff on the winter collection, which I just saw, and it's actually a really good collection. So so fantastic, interesting man, crazy, so has a really good work ethic, and to be the head of 2 couture houses is really amazing. And he pretty much so I read Fashion Climbing, and towards the end of the book, Bill Cunningham sees like pretty much Coco Chanel's last show, and it was really disappointing. So somebody like Karl Lagerfeld actually rebrands it into the juggernaut that it is. So there's a lot to be said. I think the traffic took Rob away.
Oh man.
It's like, because I couldn't find pause that refreshes.
Well, whatever works.
Yeah.
There it is. It refreshes every 15 minutes on Weekend Justice.
Isn't that permanently labeled?
Yeah, but I rearranged my board a little, so you can't see it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, and the two
color codings are all messed up.
The 2 Black Panther awards that I was most concerned about were production design and costume, which I thought they deserved.
Oh yeah.
And the score I thought was a lovely bonus.
Yeah, but the thing is they went. I mean, when they actually had a fashion show before the film came out, and they caught the fashion industry off guard with their Welcome to Wakanda, and they had their own show right during Fashion Week.
Yeah,
so it's like,
that was awesome.
What the hell is this? So, kudos for them, and the costumes were good. So, yeah.
Did they win costumes?
Yeah, they won costumes.
Oh, okay.
They won score and production design.
Which production design, you do need that. So,
yeah. and I haven't seen Bohemian Rhapsody.
I haven't either.
I have.
And
In a music biop, they're all the same.
Yeah, I mean, I like Rami Malek.
Yeah.
Rami, but whatever.
Rami Malek.
Rock on.
You know, I like him. He might be a little too pretentious for his age, but I didn't see anything particularly great about his performance as Freddie Mercury.
Mm.
I mean, other than the stuff Freddie Mercury's doing, which you can't really, you know.
Yeah, but I think is
doesn't
it acting with that type of prosthetic of I mean, Freddie really had some teeth.
Well,
and Randy's teeth are really, I mean, if you ever watch Mr. Robot, you know,
and his teeth are his teeth are also a little the other direction, it seems like.
Yes. Yeah. So he's a good actor. I really liked him in Mr. Robot. Wasn't he on something else?
He was on what was the remake they did of oh shit, hang on.
I'm losing track on what
so
much.
Oh, I'm gonna screw up the name. Papillon, is that?
Oh, Papillon.
Yeah, thank you.
Make that?
Yeah, with him and Charlie Hunnam.
I didn't see it.
I don't know that anyone did.
Yeah,
but I mean, I don't know that I didn't see any of the other performances, so I couldn't tell you who would have deserved to win. But I gotta imagine that there was somebody that did some better work than him maybe this year. Wasn't Vigo nominated in that category?
Was he lead or was he?
No, because
no, he was best actor.
Yeah, what's his name won best supporting.
Yeah, because I mean,
so I got to think that Vigo is. Again, I don't the material or whatever, how, you know, whatever the big controversy is, but and I haven't seen it, but knowing Vigo, I got to imagine he put in a hell of a performance as well, because the Freddie Mercury performance for me was just not fantastic. I mean, it was good.
Right.
I mean, to paraphrase JJ, I've seen the biopic, so you know, I don't know. I mean, I just didn't think it was that fantastic. So
I know that people in my circles hated his speech. I have not watched it yet, but it sounded like people were like, at least people in my circles were upset that he sort of called to attention that Freddie Mercury was queer but not bisexual, and there is sort of a growing movement, at least out here, of acknowledging and accepting bisexuals.
It's certainly happening in high schools as well.
Yeah, because it's something that is not it's sort of ignored by both people of basically it's ignored by queer people and by heterosexuals as being somehow weak-willed or something. And so yeah, like I said, I knew a lot of people that were like, come on, man.
Well, did you see the movie?
I haven't. It's I actually have legally acquired copies of all of the films that were up for Best Picture, but I have been working really, really late nights, and the other person who lives here works days, so there's not a lot of time to watch films.
Well, you say that because he the reason why I bring that up is because in the film he tells Mary, or I think that's his name, his longtime girlfriend, ex-wife, whatever, I don't know. I guess they did get a divorce at some point. That he was bisexual, and she just said, "No, you're gay." So I don't know if that was why. The film is notoriously bad with its actual. It's good with the storytelling, but bad with the actual facts.
Okay.
So, whether or not that's how that little thing went down or not, and when it went down. I mean, because I think one of the things somebody pointed out was that he tells in the film the rest of the of Queen that he's got AIDS right before the week before Live Aid or whatever, which apparently it happened way before that. They knew for some time, and so it's just dramatically it I guess makes sense, but maybe that's why Malick didn't say anything about the bisexual part.
It'll be interesting to see how Rocket Man handles that next year. Or this year. Although that trailer looks terrible.
Does it?
Yeah, the first trailer looked a lot better than the most recent one, I have to say.
Okay, so it's just, and I have to admit, I don't know my Elton John history all that well, but it just always, I know artistic people, and so the trailer makes it look like he'd never touched an instrument before or never written a song before. I mean, obviously he knew how to play the piano, so he must have touched an instrument, but it makes it look like he's never tried to write a song before, and so the first thing that ever popped into his head just happens to be one of those songs that is part of the American lexicon. It's like the first thing he ever tried to write was your song. Really? It wasn't something really, really bad.
So, JJ, have you seen the trailer for the new Danny Boyle film Yesterday?
I actually think that film looks bizarre enough that I'm all for it.
I think it's such a wonderfully brilliant conceit, because the whole I've taken a bump on the head and now I'm in some weird version of reality, right? I'm like, of all the ones that have happened, that is probably one of my favorite ideas. That the idea being this guy who's a sort of okay musician is in an accident, wakes up and finds himself in a world where the Beatles never happened. So he's playing the song Yesterday, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, that's incredible. When did you write that?" And he's like, "I didn't write this. And he goes on Google and like, the Beatles never happened. And so he basically starts quote unquote writing the discography of the Beatles. And it looks, like you said, it looks so bizarre and fun that I'm like, I've got to see this.
I expect, if you would have told me that there was a Beatles jukebox movie coming out this year, and I would be excited to see it, I would have told you you're crazy, because after Across the Universe,
we don't speak of it. No, there was after that, watching Eddie. What kind of film has Eddie Izzard crucify being for the benefit of Mr. Kite?
I'm somebody who can, I don't believe in guilty pleasures. I think that if you like something that people think is not acceptable, you just own it and like it. And I will say I have an appreciation for Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I do.
Oh yeah, because it's sort of so. I mean, how can you? I mean, when you have Donald Pleasance speaking his way through "I Want You, She's So Heavy," you've kind of gone Plaid.
And you've got George Burns sort of weird speak talking, fixing a hole. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, in the same way that there's that insane 2-part album, All This in World War II, which was a documentary about World War II with a bunch of people covering Beatles songs over it. It's like, what? So, yeah, there's been some gloriously weird shit with the Beatles.
Yeah, I don't know if I still have it, but I used to have a Keith Moon cover of, I think it was being for the benefit of Mr. Kite. Maybe that's not
right. And the Sgt. Pepper movie still gets points for the Earth, Wind, and Fire cover. I've got to get you in my life, which is amazing. And that's the first time Aerosmith did Come Together. Both of which are great covers.
So it can be done, which is part of why I was just saying that I think yesterday for at least on my scale is way more towards the Sgt. Pepper end than the Julie Taymor abortion.
Oh God. And it's so sad because I mean Julie Taymor's Lion King was great, and then everything else has just been kind of
crazy.
It's like her and Tarsum. It's like, what happened?
I think this has been addressed probably on here before, but
that's never stopped us.
No, okay, you're right. But I was gonna say that I think that Julie Taymor was someone who got lucky once, and is just honestly not a good director. I've worked with directors that did like one good play, right. And then worked with somebody once who did a really great job on a West Side Story I was in, and then got fired in the middle of the next show in Summerstock, like 2 days before we opened because the show hadn't been blocked.
Oh, okay.
Well, he's going to new avant-garde theater.
Yeah, and then the last night he got fired during the last show of West Side Story, and during the opening fight he didn't pull punches, so it was a really great time to
holy shit!
Wow.
To be a Jet and have that opening fight, and I got kicked right in the nards and then had to do the When You're a Jet number. So that was a lot of fun.
When you're a Jet, you're a Jet all the way.
All the way. From your
Yep.
That's crushed nut to your
till I want to die today.
JJ has only got one ball.
The other's in Hagerstown, Indiana.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That was right. Wow. That's painful.
And that's Julie Taymor.
That's Julie Taymor getting kicked in the nads.
I mean, she might not have actually kicked anybody in the balls, but how many Spider-Men did she go through?
Oh, Jesus.
A lot. Oh, my gosh.
Next.
As
soon as you say Spider-Man musical featuring the music of you two, I can't even say it out loud. You realize you have gone off the rails.
Wow. Yep, not good. Not good.
It's the pause that refreshes every 15 minutes on Weekend Justice.
Well, it is.
So on your non-agenda agenda, and that's not an agenda. So Emma Thompson.
Yeah. My wife just sent me a text about that.
Yeah.
Literally, she sent me
what's Sonia say? What's
she sent me. If you can see.
Can't see.
Oh.
Hold it up.
Okay. She sent me basically a screenshot from LA Times, I guess. But her response, her thing about this, she says she always was my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's happening though? I don't know what's going on.
Well, okay. So basically, Skydance brought John Lasseter on board to be in charge of their animation.
Yeah.
And sadly, and I say this because I always admired John Lasseter, like, 6 Ways from Sunday. So, basically, she wrote a letter which got published basically saying, listen, I'm leaving this project, even though I really want to do it, and I really want to work with this director, because this is a very questionable decision you guys have made. Why is it a comfortable thing to say, oh, this person's had problems with this, being inappropriate towards women for decades, and they're only going to behave themselves because the contract says they have to work, they have to be unquote, quote unquote professional.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not I don't know exactly why they have done this to themselves. And I urge everybody to go find the letter and read it, because it's quite good. It's like,
it's really good.
Yeah, it's like, people say we need to give John Lasseter a second chance, and it's like, well, you're paying him millions of dollars to have a second chance.
Yeah.
Did you ask any of the people who's going to have to work with him if they wanted to give him a second chance?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't, and he gets millions of dollars. But if they don't like the idea, are you going to pay them to give him a second chance, or are they just going to have to leave their job?
Right.
And it's like, oh shit.
And if you've got FU money, then use it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which, the worker bees don't.
Yeah.
And that's part of why it's very important that she makes that stand, is because she is the one that is that has the possibility of kicking them right in the pocketbook, because then they realize they lost their marketable star. Whereas, Jane Schmo, who's, voicing, Left Mushroom number 4, might feel just as uncomfortable, but has no power to actually leave the job.
Right.
Well, and you just reminded me too about the Jeff Bezos thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
where part of his letter or article was basically like, listen, if I don't have the power to stop, to stand up to these people, who does?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you go, buddy.
I can't save my marriage, but I can stop you, asshole.
That's right. I mean, it's just, and again, it's the whole blackmail thing. It's like, look, sooner or later, it's going to get used on you. So basically, you have all the power to determine when it gets used.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the power to stop it, but you have the power to decide when.
Mm-hmm.
So
people paid attention to the musical Hamilton? Because I know you didn't read it in history.
I was told that you are the most powerful person in the room until you sign the paper. Doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter. Like if you're faced with a contract and that it's questionable.
Yeah.
You are the most powerful person, and if they want you until you sign the paper.
Right.
Meaning she can walk, and this is why.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, at this moment, she's the most powerful person in this situation.
Right.
She's maintaining her scissorhood and not becoming Rock.
Correct. Yeah. Yes.
That's pretty great. I like that, actually.
So
it took me a minute to construct that, because I wanted to say it in a way that supported what she was saying.
I like that. That was very good. So springboarding on that.
The Rock Johnson when you said
the whole Bryan Singer thing in Red Sonja.
Mm.
They're calling it what I forgot. They're being very coy about
why they canned it.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, because they're not even. It's just fire them. Just give it to somebody else.
Sometimes you just wish these people would come out and make creepy YouTube videos so we can all go, well, that was fucked up.
Yeah. Yes.
Nice. It's funny because it's true.
True. Oh my gosh.
And I'm still mad at him because he was
for any number of reasons.
Oh yeah, I mean, for being a shitty human, yes, but also for being in films that he's quite good in, and you don't necessarily want to not support the people that were in those films or the filmmakers.
Yeah.
Well, and my take on it is this: it's like, it's like Bill Cosby's a shithead, but I mean, the Cosby Show is still the Cosby Show.
Or Fat Albert.
Or Fat Albert. I'm like, the Cosby Show, the idea that you could remove that from culture, considering what that did for having a black family that was strong and funny and smart and I mean, I wanted Phylicia Rashad to be my mom. I think almost everybody did because she was awesome.
Yeah, and
it was it's just a very important show. So I'm almost of a mind of, fuck you. You're not that important that you're going to sink this entire thing because it's bigger than what you are, Bill.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's where like the Connors are really trying to make a go of it.
Right.
It's like hit and miss. It's like, okay, you screwed up. We now can write you out.
Right.
And we're working. And the thing is this harkens back to the Oscars with the whole, the show is too long. We're going to put cinematography and whatever during a commercial break. And it's like everybody still thinks that the only people that matter in cinema are the actors and the directors. And yet there's an army. All you have to do is stay through credits. It's an industry.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
And it's just blatant disregard.
Right. And that's exactly kind of what I was trying to say. Because like Bill Cosby, you're right. Bill Cosby can't tank the historical impact of the work he did. However, like you were just saying about, Roseanne, it's that when she went off the rails, it affected people that were working right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In the case of, why am I blanking on his name? The asshole we were just talking about.
What, Spacey?
That one.
Spacey. Yeah. Like Spacey, Baby Driver was still sort of out there when that came out, and Baby Driver was a great film. Yeah. And so you don't want that film to necessarily be financially hurt, or all of the people to be put out of work, which luckily they weren't on House of Cards.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I just think it was very admirable to, like with the Connors or like with House of Cards, for them to have understood, yeah, this will fuck up a lot of people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So let's figure out a way to make this actually, work and, work.
Right. And historically, to go back to 80s sitcoms, you can't take Valerie Harper out of her own show.
No.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Hogan family ran a lot longer without her.
Did it really? Oh wow. I don't recall watching that show.
Well, that's because it was a terrible show and it was on a long time ago.
Yeah, right. So like how many cast changes did they have for Full House? I'm just kidding.
And that show's still running.
Yeah.
Well, they've announced the final season actually.
Oh, have they?
For now.
Okay.
I won't believe it unless like the hellscape opens up and the house like gets dropped into it.
Nice.
They're living on a Hellmouth the whole time.
Exactly. Ooh. So then Sarah Michelle Gellar comes in and spike right through Dave Coulier.
I'd pay money to see that.
I would too.
Especially
if you can get Anthony Michael Head to show up.
Yeah.
Head, excuse me, not Anthony Michael Hall.
Him too.
Yeah. They should all show up.
So it'll just be like this whole like sci-fi sort of extravaganza. You have Anthony Michael Hall from the Dead Zone. You get Buffy back. You get Boreanaz back. You get the dudes from Supernatural, and they just salt the earth and burn the place to the ground.
Oh, and they start their own series called Full House. Playing the part of John Stamos is David, whatever his name is.
Boreanaz.
I think they should have a battle royale for 80s shows, including Murder, She Wrote.
Oh, well, then she wins.
Yeah.
You can't take I've seen Sweeney Todd. You cannot take down Angela Lansbury.
Oh, my God. So there's somebody on YouTube that rewatches Angela Lansbury's shows, and it's funny. Like, there was this one where, oddly enough, only one episode went off the rails. It's like Didn't all of them go off the rails, I guess? Murder follows that woman.
Because she's a serial killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really wish I really wish I could take the time necessary to build a website that basically explains how in every episode of Murder, She Wrote that she was actually the killer.
Yeah, but okay, when she goes off the rails, they didn't. Well, she had an alibi in that one, but it was so funny on how the discovery of the maid's body was two kids playing and pretty much fell through the bushes and on top of this dead body. It was funny as hell. It's just like, oh my god, this show's funny.
That's one of the Twitter accounts I really like is it's a bot that generates new Midsomer Murders episode summaries, one a day.
Who's this?
Oh god, I gotta find it.
Find it.
I gotta find it. 1 second. Where is it? While I'm looking, talk amongst yourselves. Here's my Twitter. Okay, let's see. Midsomer Murders bot.
Okay.
It's Midsomer Plots. Oh, so yeah, they've basically last November they apparently made it an Alexa skill, so you can just create it. You can create plots anytime you want.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Let's see. Where is a good one here? Yeah, Midsomer Plots. Let's see. It's a local computer programmer is found strangled and stuffed inside a church bell. Suspicion falls on Finchmere's InfoSec community, angry that owls might threaten supplies of scones. A belligerent MP is found in the river, weighted down with a tombstone from a local graveyard. Suspicion falls on Squirrel Leap's monk, who strangely looks like Sir Thomas Nallery, angry that a shortage of hand sanitizers might threaten folk music in Midsummer County. No, it's not daily. Like every 4 hours, it just generates a new Midsomer plot.
That's good.
However, once again, when you said Midsomer Plots, my brain went someplace weird. So I was just thinking of it as the Yiddish definition of plots. So I was just seeing classy British people fall every 4 hours.
I thought
stranger things have happened.
I thought it was new takes on William Shakespeare. I wasn't quite sure what was going on.
He only wrote 2 stories.
Yeah, this is true. A comedy and a drama.
They all live at the end, or someone gets married at the end, or they all die.
And really, that's a lot like life.
Speaking of which,
what? Getting married, dying, life? What? Which one?
Rotten Tomatoes changing their audience rating system.
Oh,
okay, yeah. So what's that all about?
So basically,
it's
idiots.
It's dudes being dudes, apparently.
Yeah, a bunch of male fuckwits.
Keeping it real with the white guy.
Woo! Basically, they have been review bombing Captain Marvel by posting shitty reviews of it before they've even seen it, because apparently female superheroes are bad and scary and make them feel like their penises are small.
Panther.
What's that?
This is same people did the same thing to Black Panther.
And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Look, guys, Marvel is not responsible for the size of your penis.
Where's my John Wayne?
I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Star Wars hasn't been the same since they forced a woman and a black person in the front. And then last episode, they added an Asian woman. Jesus Christ.
What's all this different nationality stuff?
They didn't have different nationalities. They won't have different nationalities in the future.
I know there's only one black man in the universe, and that's Lando.
And he's a cool one.
We all know that when they went into the Mos Eisley spaceport, that guy with the shark head was white.
Those guys didn't deserve the treatment that they got.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So yeah, and they're even going so far as to turn off the expectation thing too. You know, people.
Yeah, want to see the want to see rating.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because and I can see where this makes sense because they're saying, well, people were getting it confused with, you know, the actual rating, and I'm like, I don't personally see the benefit of knowing what percentage of people want to go see a film. That generally makes me question my own, thought processes.
I've already bought my tickets to go see Captain Marvel.
So have I.
Oh, I
wanted to go to a showing here that was being hosted by a local comic book shop that was going to have Kelly Sue DeConnick there, but that sold out.
Yeah, they're she's local there, isn't she?
Yes.
Yeah,
I have bought Girl Scout cookies from her before.
Oh,
nice!
It is Girl Scout cookie time now.
Yes. I have some on top of my refrigerator, but they were not from her, or rather, her daughter.
Yes, that would be really weird. Although I guess if you worked with her, who knows?
Yeah, no, she was selling them at a local comic shop. I just happened to be in that day and was like, oh, well, hey, cool.
Yeah, I met her at I met her here in Tampa for because I didn't even know she was in town, but of course, Kim sent me a text saying, "Hey, I need you to go do this for me," and which was go get this comic signed. I was the only person there, besides the owner of the store.
Wow,
I was very shocked. And her daughter was running around the comic shop at the time. She's super nice. She's super friendly.
I've met her and her husband, and they could not be more diametrically. And not that he's not nice; it's just he's obviously someone who's very quiet and thoughtful.
Mm-hmm.
She's married to Matt Fraction, if people don't know. But yeah, so I've met Matt Fraction, and kind of awkward in the fact that he wrote Iron Fist, and I've got an Iron Fist tattoo, and it was this sort of like bizarre sort of cool, yay. Because neither of us are overly talkative people, but yeah, you meet Kelly Sue DeConnick, and all of a sudden you feel like you've known her for like 80 years. It's weird.
I swear she was gonna invite me back for chocolate cake and milk or something. She was that friendly. She was like, yeah. She's talking about her daughter, talking about what she's doing in town. I guess she has family that lives down here. That's why she was in town. She was visiting her mother, or maybe her mother-in-law.
And why the fuck would you know that from a signing? Because she's very friendly, like you were saying.
To the end, that's what I was saying. So, and unfortunately, I wasn't really that familiar with her work at that point either. I just went because Kim told me to.
Right. Oh, that sucks. I've met so many like really well-known people that I didn't read their shit, and the problem is I am someone who knows enough about comics that I can usually get away with a sentence or two.
Mm-hmm.
But if you ask me to follow up on someone that I don't know much of their work, then it becomes a very like, yeah, cool, okay, bye.
Right. So I wish I and I've since read her stuff, but I wasn't really following comics for a long period of time there. So I wish I had seen her stuff before I met her, but you know what? Miss Tuffley got her signed Captain Marvel. So
you're a good man, and all of us stop reading comics from time to time. You have to.
Yeah. It's like you do. There was something else though about that. The Shazam. So Shazam, back to the Rotten Tomato stuff.
Right.
Zach Levy. I don't know if you saw this. Zach Levy said that because I guess there's a bunch of DC people too that are pissed off about it being Captain Marvel. I don't know. Anyway.
What?
Because one's Mr. Marvel. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, but Zach Levy posted a thing saying, if you think that you're helping me or helping out Shazam by, doing this crap to Captain Marvel, you're not. So knock it off.
Good for him.
Good for him.
And that was settled in the courts years ago.
Yes, it was, but I don't even think that that's the case. I think it's just DC fans being, solely DC fans, I guess. Plus, you tack on, white males being threatened by anybody that doesn't look like them in power. Also, lowering the score, then you get a whole bunch of stuff. I gotta imagine the DC piece of that though has got to be a small sliver compared to the other thing.
Yeah,
I am perplexed by this because I personally, people were like offended at Wonder Woman and stuff like that, and I'm like,
oh my god,
I'm like, okay, call me crazy.
Crazy.
But I think, well, thank you, but I think like strong women are hot. Like Captain Marvel can perforate starships. That is both literally and figuratively hot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm fine with being the case to somebody else's Molly, like a neuromancer. Trinity, yes, please. Mace from Strange Days, oh yes. So I'm fine. I'm fine with someone who could potentially. I mean, Cosette, she's had the ability to kill me in my sleep for 19 years, and I know this. So but I'm cool with it.
Well, is there something about the idea that having films with strong women, that all of a sudden you're taking away
jobs from white men who do not get enough jobs today?
Well, or the idea, I'm trying to be careful on this. The fantasy that a guy is the hero. This happened during Mad Max Beyond, the Fury Road thing.
Beyond the Fury Road.
Beyond
Fury
the
Road.
Thunder.
Furry Road. Furry Road.
Yeah.
It was
Furry
Road. Careful.
I want to see On the Fury Road where
I do.
Where Bing Crosby and Bob Hope get
I
killed.
do. Oh my
God.
Yes.
If there was
up to the front of
could somebody please
and
dear
then
internet,
Roy has the guitar.
could
There
somebody
you go.
please mash up a trailer? You can even just do the black and chrome edition of Fury Road, so it can all be black and white, and just give us a Fury Road, Bing Crosby, Bob Hope road comedy.
Show. Yes.
Oh my
Go
god.
for Road to
Now I need
Morocco.
that.
There's going to be more sand there.
There will
I
be.
totally fucking need
All
that.
right.
Now.
I just picture, the two of them on a camel, and then all of a sudden, the big fucking gas truck that Furiosa is driving just.
And then Myrna Loy has the guitar. Yeah. So no, okay. So, is there something behind that?
Well, the fact that guys are extraordinarily insecure and have ridiculous amounts of entitlement.
Which we have no power. I don't know what you're talking about. Life has been difficult. It's not like I just get things handed to me every day. Sometimes I go
to your house.
Something handed to me.
Yeah.
That's
But for 2 hours they could be the hero. Yeah. Is that it? Is that the takeaway?
No, it's because we're not in charge, period. That's what it is.
It's because, God damn it, they're taking everything else away from us. We used to be in power, but now there used to be, you might not have known this, but there used to be a leader of this country that was a person of color.
Yeah, I know. Those were,
and I know that, like, when that happened, my testicles literally fell off. Mm-hmm.
It's time we get it back. You hear?
And now they're talking about having somebody with ovaries in the White House. So what the hell?
I don't know.
I thought we got rid of that problem last time.
I thought we sprayed for ovaries.
So yeah, Rox. I mean, there is you. I don't. I'm not to not to not to mansplaining.
No,
Don't worry, JD. I'll mansplain your mansplaining of mansplaining.
Wait. Well, hang on. I need to take some notes so I can properly mansplain the mansplaining about mansplaining.
But so I do think there is something about, if there's not something about representation, then why would it matter when it was lessened?
Mm-hmm.
So why are people threatened when they don't see themselves, or why are people that were in power threatened when they don't see themselves reflected back to them as adequately as they wish? Because there is something to be said about acknowledging that other people are humans. And also there is something to be said about why, well, not to go back to her, but something that Kelly Sue DeConnick said to Elizabeth when we were talking once was about the movie Ghostbusters and how she really loved the Paul Feig Ghostbusters a couple years ago, and some people with her didn't think it was as good. And Kelly Sue DeConnick was like, "Shut up and let me have this. I don't care if you didn't like it. You let me have this. This was something I have not seen. Let me have it."
Mm-hmm.
I actually like that Ghostbusters, but
I liked it a lot. I've got it on Blu-ray. I thought I could have used more character moments, but as a modern comedy, it was very serviceable. But so I think it's if you look at history, culture generally destroys the arts first when they're in trouble, and so because people need stories, and it happens over and over in history. So that's kind of what's happening right now, is that one aspect of the culture war is happening in pop culture, because that's what we have now. We don't have the theater, we don't have the theater, we don't have opera. What we have are our movies and television shows and the internet.
Lots of internet.
Which I don't think is a bad thing.
So welcome to Sociology 101. Thank you. No, that was a great explanation. That was good.
I was obsessed with theater history as a kid, and I was obsessed with the fact that you would see all these great societies, like before they would fall, they would destroy their arts, and it was something that I became obsessed with.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Or it merges into, what is it, bread and circuses, right?
I mean, because like even when England was trying to sort of bury the Catholic Church, they closed theaters. It's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now back to fart jokes.
All right.
Hey!
So as we were having that discussion, I went and looked up the Black Panther audience score, which is at 79%, mostly because of dicks like this, because I found this quote: "Worst movie from Marvel," very aptly put, by the way, very apropos, rather. "Worst movie from Marvel, well, probably Captain Marvel will beat it, though." Smiley face, 1 star, John D. So
wait,
they were already prepared to hate Captain Marvel as well.
Huh.
The guy who was like the head sorcerer of the British throne, John D.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that's hardcore.
Yeah, it is.
However, as a comic fan, I will say my least favorite movies from Marvel have been the Ant-Man movies, and they're still fun.
Yeah, they are fun. We need fun films. So, are there any movie critics left? I mean, like Rex Reed, what's he doing? I mean,
He's still around.
I know, but it's like, are there? I know what's his name from the New York Times still writes movies. I haven't read one of his articles in a long time, but I think allowing the change in Rotten Tomatoes is just crazy.
But the death of the film critic kind of happened when the rise of the internet writer came up, and you could get somebody to write something off the internet for quote unquote exposure.
Yeah.
When you had to pay Rex Reed, X amount of dollars. And also, Rex Reed kind of outlived his era of films. He kind of made himself really irrelevant towards the end.
Yeah.
You kind of got to not be a dinosaur if you're going to review.
Well,
if you're just going to go into it going, oh, these movies aren't the way they used to be.
Well, and that's the thing is that that's why I started reviewing movies to begin with, is because I got so tired of seeing these critiques of films and going and sitting there going, I don't know that we saw the same movie.
Oh, this is gas. Oh, yeah. This is why I never Malton. It's like, or was it Medved? It was Medved or was it Medved or whatever that said Texas Chainsaw Massacre was the bloodiest film he's ever seen, and he walked out through it, and it's a film that has the least amount of blood in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, it's and then you don't even go back and fix it. It's like the people who would say to Hitchcock, "Oh, I thought it was so amazing that you shot the blood going down the drain in Psycho in color," and he would be like, "I didn't do that.
Wow,
your brain did that."
Yeah, yeah.
So
there was a quote from Roger Ebert years ago that I've always loved, and that's he would always say that there are two kinds of film that were absolutely review proof, and that was comedy and pornography. If you can't tell someone not to laugh, and you can't convince them that they shouldn't have an erection.
Wow, wow,
That's
is
great.
Good. That's good. On that note, I'm stepping away from the mic.
Okay, have you got any recommendations before you flee?
And on that bombshell, like every
I do. Oh my gosh. So this is the cool thing. So people, go to the library, download an app called Libby or Hoopla. Okay, you can get books for free from the library. Do this. Hoopla. So I am reading. Oh my god, this is really cool. Playing Dead. And basically, it's this one woman's journey into trying to disappear. And there are people that help people to disappear. So one fellow actually does this thing called skip tracing. He started out with a company for skip tracing, and these are people that can find you. Questionable ways. But he started another company. He started writing on what trips you up when you're trying to disappear. It highlights some of the people that have faked their death and stuff like that. So it's fascinating nonfiction piece of work. Check it out with your library, buy it through Amazon, through needcoffee.com. And get that. I'm also reading. Well, all right. I think I gave you the Bill Cunningham thing. Looking around. What else do I have? Yeah, we'll just go with that one. That's good.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Rox.
You're welcome. Bye. Bye.
We've been here for 5 hours. You want to do introductions now?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going. Bye.
So, okay. Well, I mean, we can, but there's just 3 of us left.
No, go ahead, Carla. I'm on a delay. Go ahead.
Oh, man, Robo Aaron, that's a terrible accent.
Yeah, well, I mean, I never believed he was Irish. What was the thing?
It's just fun.
Oh God. Let's see what there's
Umbrella Academy on your list here.
Oh yes. So I'm only a little over 2 episodes in, and I'm really enjoying it. And has anybody else watched any of it?
I want to, but I haven't yet.
I've seen the whole thing.
Yeah, you are way ahead of me because you said you basically inhaled all of Russian Doll as well, right?
Yes, all of Russian Doll was mine.
I have heard many good things of that.
I nested in it twice. What?
I just heard many good things about Russian Doll.
Yeah, like I just alluded to. I ran through it twice. It's really good.
Twice, damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Umbrella Academy, I'm really enjoying, and I've watched the first 2 episodes that have been out thus far of Doom Patrol, and I'm really liking that too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm. It is so odd, and it's the kind of odd that you would expect, but I'm still sort of surprised that it's on television. You know?
Did you watch all / any of Titans?
No. And I want to, because basically it was funny. I originally, when I saw the trailers for Titans, I didn't think anything of it. It just didn't look that good. But 2 things happened. One, I saw I kept seeing reviews where they were like, well, this is the best kept superhero secret on television. And I was like, really? And also, I watched the trailer they put out for Netflix UK, because DC Universe is only stateside. I don't know, maybe Canada. But it's Netflix in the UK. And they put out a separate trailer, and it looked amazing. And so I do want to go back and watch Titans, but I have not watched any of it yet. But I was a little at first. I was a little like, well, why is Cyborg in Doom Patrol? But they make it make sense. And I'm fine with it. And the cast is great. I mean, Brendan Fraser especially is the perfect Cliff Steele. That kind of weary, kind of not even thinking about being the hero, but just wanting to do the right thing, and thus that's why he's a hero. He's great at it. So so far I'm really enjoying it. And especially like I said, Umbrella Academy is, you can definitely see, because Gerard Way was a huge fan of Morrison's Doom Patrol when he created Umbrella Academy, and went on to do a version of Doom Patrol for DC.
Which was good.
Well, I've not read. I've read like the original run and then Morrison, a lot of Morrison, and that's it. But I understand there's been like 7 versions since then or something.
Yeah, but so Elizabeth had never read any Doom Patrol other than Morrison, because she's a big Morrison fan, and I was just showing her an issue of the Gerard Way, and she was like, "Oh wow, this guy's there and this character's there," and it was like characters that I hadn't really even noticed, and and then she was gone for like a half hour of just like absorbing this book that she hadn't intended to read. So I would say, for a Morrison fan, although I have not read the Morrison era of Doom Patrol, it is apparently a good continuation.
Well, I do want to check that out. But it's very interesting watching the 2 side by side, because it's very obvious that Umbrella Academy takes a lot of cues from Morrison's Doom Patrol, but whereas Doom Patrol is like just completely balls to the wall, like doesn't give a shit. It's like, I'm just gonna be weird as fuck now. Umbrella Academy is such a, and John, let me know if this sounds right to you as well, but it's like, it's such a slow weirdness, and it's so unassuming in its weirdness. It's just kind of like, hi, this is here and it's weird. Oh, this thing over here? Yeah, we'll get to that later, but that's pretty fucking weird. This thing, oh yeah, that's weird. But you're just gonna have to wait, because there's this thing over here, and that's weird. Does that jive with what you experienced, John?
It pretty much is that. It has some pacing issues at times, but yeah, it is. They stretched what was essentially what a 70-page comic, something like that, maybe 90 pages.
Really? That's all it was?
Hold on, I'm going to check my work right now.
Holy shit!
Because it seems like that's. But anyway, they stretch it out a bit, but it.
Wow.
But it's good. I really liked it. I really did like it though. Pages of.
And I really like the cast a lot, but so far Ellen Page is just.
She does a great job.
I mean, she's perfect. She's like, it's like she was grown in a vat to play that role. You know, just amazing.
No, she doesn't generally phone it in.
No, absolutely not. So, yeah,
Usually it goes right through the wall.
Hey,
she
what, John?
She just throws her performance at the wall and see what goes through.
Right.
Hey, pages. Let's see. Hey, I can get it on my Kindle. Oh, that's if I have Comixology, which I don't.
You should. It's a good app.
Well, I mean, the app is good, but I'm not subscribing to Comixology. That's what I'm saying. What was I gonna say? Because back to what Rock said is I have Hoopla because I have a public library card. I can check out books there, and Umbrella Academy is available there for check out. How many pages? Pages. Volume 1 does not tell me how many pages it is.
So this is all just volume 1.
It is all just volume 1. Yes.
Okay.
Volume 1 or volume 2 is just being published now, if I remember correctly. But I could also be way wrong.
Huh. Well, and that's the.
No, volume 3 is.
Fuck me.
Oh, that's the other thing too. Is talk about stuff based on things like His Dark Materials. I don't know if you guys saw the trailer for that. I should have put that in the non-agenda.
100 trailer for that yet.
It's good. I'm just when they get to series 3, which is based on the 3rd book, someone is going to have to watch it ahead of me and tell me if I'm going to want to if I need to become stabby again, because I got so stabby at the end of that series. I wanted to find Philip Pullman and punch him in the face.
I admit I read 2.5 books, and when I was in the middle of Amber Spyglass, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, you were smart. You were smart. I wish I had been done. But no, I went to the end. And I'll put it to you this way. You know how C.S. Lewis had an agenda for Narnia?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah. Well, but you know how C.S. Lewis kind of he never really, in my mind, hid his agenda. You know? So it's like if you were paying attention, I mean it got blatant at the end, obviously, but it was very front and center.
Mm-hmm.
Pullman, it was all of a sudden like in the last 50 pages went, oh, and by the way, here's this. And I was like, and you know how I get very violent when people take characters and morph them in ways that the characters would never act based on what they themselves have created.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Peter Parker never takes off his fucking mask. Yeah, Reed Richards would never get someone killed and not give a shit about it. You know, Iron Man and Captain America would never put the Avengers back together and in the space of 30 seconds decide that they hated each other. So,
I'm not fucking kidding.
Yeah, you're damn right, Robo Neil. Yeah. So, anyway, so yeah, someone's gonna have to watch series 3 for me and warn me, because if it's I don't need that level of stress in my life. It was bad.
Can we just de-escalate the situation?
No.
I've recently started watching. It's been on for a while, but a vaguely comic related show. I started watching Winona Earp.
Oh yeah,
I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah, I honestly didn't realize for the longest time that was that was there. I didn't know, because again, there's like 50 new shows coming out every day. So
yeah, I just was I was literally on Netflix and wanted to watch something that I wasn't watching with anyone else, and I was like, I need to watch, because basically that's what I've been. Not that anybody gives a shit, but that's what I have been watching. Voltron was by myself, and I was like, I cannot watch a fucking cartoon right now. I need to watch something.
Right.
And I'm ridiculously behind in all of the Marvel shows because I've been watching them with other people. And so I just was like, fuck it, I'm gonna watch an episode of Wynonna Earp. And it's not bad. It's surprisingly in some ways and surprising to see a female character like that on television.
Right.
I was really amused in the pilot episode when somebody asked, is like, she went through something rough. She was like, well, how was that? And she's like, that was a real kick in the box. I was like, okay, cool. Let's have fallible female characters. Let's do it.
On regular television.
On regular television, yes. Well, yeah, in my life, I know the whole
cable, I guess.
But yeah, it isn't groundbreaking. It does kind of feel in some ways like a combination of like Buffy and a lot of other sort of I say Buffy not because it's a female-led show. It's just Buffy seems to be the template for all supernatural shows, including Supernatural. So it does seem to have a little bit of that in there, and a little bit of Deadwood, a little bit of this and that, but it's acceptable.
Says JJ. It's
me.
Acceptable.
It's acceptable. I'll allow it, says JJ.
It might get great, but about 4 episodes in, it's acceptable.
You may proceed, says JJ.
You do not need to erase yourself from Netflix.
That's true praise. You do not offend me. Continue.
We just started watching Shameless on Netflix, the William H. Macy version.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just speaking of foul-mouthed women, that's why I want to point out on regular television, basic cable, because there's a fair amount of that over there on that
There's
show.
some of them foul-mouthed women.
They don't do it.
No. I don't know where that came from. I have no fucking clue. Not a clue. Oh God!
All right, now the no look push of the soundboard.
So after I swallow, there is a little tingle on my tongue.
Oh,
so accurate. Dear God.
Going back to Ghostbusters, they're remaking, or not remaking, they are making a third Ghostbusters kind of thing, because it's going to bring it back to the dude Ghostbusters and ignore the female Ghostbusters.
And there's some problems with Ivan Reitman's son, right? Isn't there?
Is there?
In the Me Too world?
I didn't know. That's not a huge surprise. I know there's problems with John Landis's son.
Oh,
you know what? Forgive me, Mr. Ramus. I might be conflating the two.
Yeah, because Landis's kid, has had several accusations against him. Now, the only thing I have heard Jason Reitman say that I really didn't like, because I don't like the way it was phrased, was, yeah, we're doing this to give it back to the fans.
Yeah.
Like, the fans didn't have anything taken away from them. There was a movie made that some people liked and some people didn't, but it was not. It didn't. Just because the movie came out doesn't mean that every piece of media you had was erased.
Mm-hmm.
It just really bugs me.
Yeah, I don't. again, it's not something I really can completely get my head around because it just seems so fucking stupid to me.
Well, and also, sometimes you look at it too, and it's like, wait, this is where we're drawing our lines in the culture wars. A bunch of out of work scientists fighting ghosts for comedy.
Yeah, it is a little odd, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's where
it's
you have
okay,
your.
it's okay. I mean, the film is flawed. It's okay not to like it based on its merits, but because I think they did the same thing on Rotten Tomatoes with this too. It was the audience buried it, even though critics were sort of meh about it.
Right.
I thought it was fun. I will. I've said this before on this podcast. I think it's funnier than the original Ghostbusters. Do I think it's better than the original Ghostbusters? No, they're two different, as we talked about before, as you just mentioned. They're two different things.
Mm-hmm.
One was science fiction with humor in it. This was humor with science fiction in it.
Right. Yeah, so. And I, as someone who has, studied comedy basically my whole adult life, I have certain preferences about, like, comedy that works multiple times to me is not the same as comedy that necessarily works great once.
Mm.
And so I will say I like the original. I think is more character based, where the comedy happens character wise. So I feel like it is a deeper form of comedy, whereas the Paul Feig one is very funny, but it's very joke forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's a totally different style of comedy. It's it's kind of like the difference between, say, Night of the Lupus and Jaws.
Yeah, that's a comparison I was not expecting this evening. Well played.
I was expecting the comparison of Lucas and Jaws, but
that's pretty easy. Jaws wins unless they're on ground.
Wow.
However, Rudy and Jaws, that's a competition.
Yeah. That's like the zombie versus shark thing from Zombie 2 or 3. I can't remember. Anyway, one of those.
Yeah, one of the Italian zombie movies that also has a sequence of a splinter going through someone's eye, which is why I will never watch that movie, because you have to know your own boundaries.
That's smart.
The
no argument here.
The shark made me think of Conan O'Brien. Don't ask me why. Has anybody been watching his new formatted show?
No. In fact, I'd forgotten that was happening, but
it's super good. I mean, it's really good because the half hour kind of takes out. I mean, I feel bad because he's always had really great musicians on there and performances, but from a comedy standpoint, from a nice quick half hour watch, I think he's doing some really good work over there with that half hour format.
Brevity in general helps comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of does. Although that's, a lesson that's been forgotten many times, especially on this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. I admit it freely. Now your improv, it is cast out. Yeah, well, improv police sometimes they're needed. Not always. But sometimes.
Always, but sometimes.
No, sometimes.
Yeah, so Umbrella Academy was good.
Good.
Hey. One of the funniest things I saw coming out of that was a bunch of people really excited that Gerard Way had a single attached to it, and they really liked the song he had written for it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The song that he wrote for it was his cover of Hazy Shade of Winter. Which, let's face it, is just sort of a keyboard heavy version of the cover that the Bengals already did.
Nice. I have not listened to that. I suppose I should now.
It's
I mean,
fine.
not right now.
The soundtrack on Umbrella Academy is fantastic.
Oh yeah, like I said, the dance sequence from the first episode is just fantastic.
There's a dance sequence later that comes out of nowhere. That's from a dance sequence perspective, and just from just taking you out of the whole. But basically, what you were saying earlier. Oh, this is weird. Type moment that comes out of nowhere is really, really good as well, I think.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, should we mosey towards recommendations?
It seems like that should be the way we're going.
I think it is. I think we should just embrace it rather than try to flee from it. Because, oh, that's good. All right, fine. Let us do that then.
We should probably find something to recommend.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. JJ, have you got something for us?
My brain was going real quick there. As I've said, I've not really taken in a bunch of stuff lately. Since I usually talk about comics, I will say there's a couple of comics out there that I'm enjoying right now. For the first time, and I can't remember how long. I'm enjoying Uncanny X-Men.
Wow, really?
And that is a sentence that is really strange for me to say because I've hated that series for a long time.
Well, what is the difference that they've done? Because I mean, like in my case, I see it like there's these articles about, oh hey, we're gonna explain why Wolverine's alive, and I'm like, I could not give less of a shit.
I will say, oh please.
Oh no, because just basically it's like, I think I mentioned this before. I saw an article. It's like, oh, the information behind Thanos' shocking death, and I'm like, he shockingly died 6 times. Who fucking cares?
Right, and because of that, for me, it always has to be about storyline and tone.
Right.
I will admit, I don't know how Wolverine came back. If that's issued somewhere, I don't know. I don't care. The latest issue of Uncanny X-Men it's Cyclops, like adult Cyclops, who's been dead for a while, and Wolverine. And I'm like, I don't care how either of them are alive. Okay, cool. Just deal with them properly. What I generally like about what seems to be right with the tone. We'll see what happens as they continue. The first storyline was called X-Men Disassembled because you have to do that. And they're doing this sort of alternate reality timeline story with most of the X-Men right now that feels sort of Age of Apocalypse-y.
Yeah, I read the first issue of that and I was good.
Yeah, I haven't read any of that. For me, it's really about Uncanny X-Men right now, is because it has felt like they got rid of the. So for me, Marvel for a long time has gotten kind of caught in this over seriousness of things.
Oh yeah.
And my favorite X-Men stories were always like when nothing happened and they were just sort of like talking. Give me a scene of like Storm and Jean Grey having coffee and I'm like, okay, this is a good issue of the X-Men for me.
Yeah, it can be, certainly.
And so the first several issues were kind of like this calling up everybody who's ever been an X-Men to fight some alternate version of, it was X-Man, who's like an alternate version of Cable. It's Nathaniel Gray. And so, yeah, that's cool. But it was really more about the way that the characters were interacting with one another, which made it work for me.
Right.
And then now, they're shunted into an alternate reality, and the only 2 X-Men that are left are Wolverine and Cyclops, and they were handled well. So for me, it's not even so much about, what's happening in the books. It's more about, it's not everybody talking about, like, oh God, you killed Professor X, and I hate you for this, and I hate you for that. It's,
right.
It's just the characters being written in a way that feels like, as you were saying earlier, feels similar to the way they have been written, have been established to be written in the past.
Right. And it's and the characters can obviously change. It's just that when you have something come out of left field with no explanation as to why the character would suddenly act like that. And the obvious explanation is, well, because we needed them to for this, event to make sense. It just makes you want to stab people in the face.
Yeah, I hated, although I realized some stories could be told there. I hated this idea of Cyclops suddenly becoming mutant revolutionary. When he had the X mask, it just that was an era that just made no sense to me. Why was it all of a sudden, Wolverine's the head of one faction of X-Men and then angry Cyclops is the other? It just didn't work for me for the character that the progress to get him there didn't make sense to me.
Right.
The only thing that I really liked about that whole Phoenix 5 story was something that was pointed out to me, that the Phoenix 5 were Peter Rasputin. Let me get the names right in the correct order: Peter Rasputin, Emma Thompson, Namor, Illyana Rasputin, and Scott Summers. Which, if you take the first letters of their names, it means that the Phoenix Force was penis.
Wow. Okay.
As it often is.
Peter, Emma, Namor, Illyana, Scott, penis. But anyway, but that's been fun. I think I may have mentioned before, I've also been really enjoying The Immortal Hulk, which is sort of a horror movie take on the Hulk. It's been pretty interesting.
Yeah, it sounded when I saw what they were doing with it, it sounded pretty cool. So that's still working out.
Yeah, so far it's I don't know how many episodes it is, and it's gotten weirder. I don't know where the hell they're going. They're right now, the Hulk is in hell, maybe actual hell. I don't know exactly. But he's had like a lot of the gamma sucked out of him by Absorbing Man, and so he's this sort of weird, deflated, like sort of muscular, but you can also kind of see his ribs in spots. It's a weird book. It's a real weird book, but I'm enjoying it.
Well, that's the important part.
And then I guess the last thing I'll mention is I did see a fun but not life-changing movie yesterday.
Okay.
Being a wrestling fan, they came out with that film Fighting with My Family.
Yeah, how was that?
Okay, if you are a wrestling fan, it is one of those things where you kind of go, well, that's not what happened.
Okay.
But
so basically your problem with this is like the problem with The Favorite being not historically accurate.
Yeah, I actually almost said something about it then, but I was like, I should probably hold on to that for recommendations. But it's not so much that it took me out. It's just like you just kind of go, oh, okay, well, they streamlined that for story. Okay, cool. Enjoy. But it is a sports film. And so if you are susceptible to sports films, which I am as a non-sports fan, for some reason, sports films will draw me in almost every time. And so this works, and it just so happens to be one that the sporting event that is the climax of the film. I was like, oh yeah, I watched that on TV live. Okay, cool. But all in all, I mean, it's out of 5 stars, it's it's probably a 3.5 star film, but it was enjoyable.
It's got a 91% favorable on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's definitely favorable. I mean, it is one of those films that I came out of it going, I will watch this again.
Nice.
It put a smile on my face, and I enjoyed watching it. And I think it's, it is certainly the happiest version of what it must be like to work as a wrestler ever. But it is, it's definitely the opposite of, say, Aronofsky's Wrestler.
Oh God!
But it's it's a Stephen Merchant film, and it very much feels like a Stephen Merchant film. It's live, it's lively, it's light, it's fun, it's good. I give it a thumbs up, and like I said, I want to see it again. I'm not shitting on it in any way, shape, or form. It's just it's not going to be up for Oscars next year, but it was a great film.
Cool. And I like anything with Nick Frost, so.
Oh, and he's so good in it. He and Lena Headey are both fun in it.
Yeah, it took me a minute to realize that was her. So, yeah. But it's cool. Excellent. Cool. Thanks, JJ. John, what have you got?
I will point out that now is the time for you to pre-order Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, because I don't have anything to recommend, so I'm going to steal something that inevitably Widge was going to suggest.
Oh, eventually, sure. But yeah, so you should do that. You should definitely do that. I'm assuming it's available for pre-order on Amazon because
that is correct, sir. If you go to coffee.com/Amazon/ I'm pre-ordering Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I'm pre-ordering Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I'm pre-ordering Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Because for some weird reason, sometimes the Marvel stuff is not available for pre-order.
Well, it's a Sony, remember?
I know. So I'm happy to see that, for that it actually works.
It's $22 Blu-ray right now, as opposed to 40 as the recommended. Does that come with a? Yep. Oh, that's with that's the Blu-ray DVD and digital. I don't know why you need the DVD, but okay.
Yeah, rock on with your bad selves.
Because you have to have a version to give to your grandmother, so she watches it.
Oh, I can't. I'm trying to think of how I would explain that movie to my grandmother. I think I'm bleeding from the head. So, I mean, John is absolutely right in that if you go to needcoffee.com/Amazon, you will wind up on the front page of Amazon, just like you've gone to the front page of Amazon because it's the front page of Amazon. And yes, you should, anything that you want to pre-order or reorder or anything else like that, feel free to do it from the safety of your own home, and we get kickbacks for it, which we greatly appreciate. So, what do I have? I have a couple things, a couple music things. First, I did not realize at first that the soundtrack to the Netflix movie Polar was done by Deadmau5, and it's actually really great score with an excellent closing tune. So I recommend that. And I will also recommend this album came out a few years ago, and I did not know about it until, you know how it is, where you run across something on Spotify and you go, this exists. So apparently a bunch of hard rock metal guys were like, there really needs to be a harder cover of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, which sounds like a horrible idea, but in actuality, it's actually pretty good. It's called Doom Side of the Moon, and I actually really enjoy it. It's not bad for what it is. So I will recommend that as well. So those are my two. All music. I'm the only music person here, and that makes me seem very musical, even though I'm probably 6 years behind listening to everybody else's stuff.
I don't know. You didn't get into the Queensryche conversation.
No, I did, because I'm like, you get beyond Operation Mindcrime, and I'm completely lost. So,
well, Empire came after Operation Mindcrime.
Well, see,
Here in the Now Frontier.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
There's no help.
Good songs on it.
There's no help for me for multiple reasons. So anyway, so yes, I think we have come to the end of another episode of Weekend Justice, and just as always, as we stand on the rim of the smoking crater that was the evening, it's probably a good time to take a moment to pause, reflect, and now that it's safe to do so, we can simply say mansplaining.
See, the problem with the saying mansplaining is what you actually mean is
yes.
Nice. I like it. It's got a good beat. Dance to it. Oh my God.
Why don't you go have sex with my husband?
What? Where is that from? That's hilarious and awesome.
he's not going to tell you.
No, he's not.
Do you ever listen to a band called The Regrets, Widge?
The name seems familiar, but it doesn't ring a bell.
It's Regrets with at as being like female, ETTE.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
they're sort of rock pop I like them a lot.
Cool. I'll check it out. I don't have enough to listen to. Why not?
they've become a band that I like a lot. They did one of the Hamilton Hamel drops. They did Helpless when
cool.
Lin-Manuel Miranda was doing those. Wow, that name got abused, but whatever.
It's understandable.
I somehow made it one syllable, but
which is impressive. So well done, you.
Don't take down your pants.
Hey, I've got my camera turned off. Don't you tell me what to do, Robo Rocks.
Soft and sexy.
Oh God.
Take care, guys.
Yes, run away while you can. All right.
We've been here for 5 hours. You want to do introductions now?
No, we're leaving. Thanks, everybody.
No clutch this week. Sorry, clutch.
No clutch. Well, it's it. We missed it in the clutch.
Oh,
hey, and I'm gonna go pee.
What the? You missed a joke at the end there. Who?